Aaron, what is our fourth main topic today?
Our fourth main topic comes to us from Jerry Crowshoe, who says, "Greetings from a fellow Canadian living in the lower 48. Go Flames." I read online that Blade and its director parted ways, with Marvel issuing a statement. As a huge fan of Blade with Mr. Snipes, this concerns me a smidgen. Does it concern you? And with the so-so reactions with recent MCU shows and movies, how important is it for Marvel to knock Blade out of the park? And as always, keep it filthy.
All right, thanks a lot for saying that in, Jerry. And I believe it was 1978 when they announced that Mahershala Ali was going to be Blade. It was a long time ago. It was the last Comic-Con. I think it was 2019. It was like 3 years ago.
2020 was 20 years.
It's
2 decades.
It was that Mahershala Ali came out on stage and they said, "This is our Blade, everybody." Years ago. Now, that ain't Black Adam kind of delay, but still, it has been a while, and they still haven't even started shooting this thing. Well, now they've lost their director. This comes to us from the folks over at The Hollywood Reporter, who write the following. Due to continued shifts in our production schedule, Bassam Tariq is no longer moving forward as director of Blade, but will remain as an executive producer on the film, Marvel said in a statement to The Hollywood Reporter. "We appreciate Bassam's talent and all the work he's done getting Blade to where it is. Blade has been set to start production shift at least once before, if not twice, and sources say that the project has undergone several rounds of script rewrites. Beau DeMayo, who has worked on shows such as Star Trek Strange New Worlds, which I love, The Witcher, which I love, and the animated feature spinoff, as well as Marvel's own Moon Knight, which is all right, is the current writer. One source says that the studio is already in the search mode for a new director." And that comes to us from The Hollywood Reporter. So now, with them reportedly literally being just weeks away from starting shooting, because they were supposed to start shooting this thing in November, and we're about 6 to 7, 8 weeks away from when they were going to start shooting this thing. Now you lose your director? This close to the start of production? Forgive me, but this is some DC sounding shit. This ain't good. It was one thing when they had to part ways with Edgar Wright over Ant-Man because so many years had passed that their vision for the MCU was no longer in line with what Edgar's vision for Ant-Man was, and that made it understandable that the two of them parted ways. This is concerning to me because this is the type of mismanagement we are not accustomed to seeing happen in House Marvel. Director changes happen, writer changes happen, not weeks away from something is supposed to start shooting.
Yeah.
And I remember I was talking to Rob last night, and I mentioned that this to me is one of the first cracks in the armor of the fact that was something I've been saying for a long time. Kevin Feige is spread too thin now. It used to be in the MCU that Kevin Feige had direct hands-on control's a strong word, but for lack of a stronger word, let's say influence, direct hands-on influence and quality control and assurance over every step of every one of Marvel's projects. But that was a day when they were putting out 3 movies a year. Today, we have 3 projects coming out in a month. At least that's what it seems like, between all the MCU stuff on Disney Plus, all the movies, all this kind of stuff. And Kevin Feige has said before, he's no longer as hands-on. He just isn't. And actually, when they were looking for a Fantastic Four director, they came straight out and said that Kevin Feige is looking for a director that he doesn't have to keep his eye on because he is spread too thin. And I think this, with Blade, is an example of that Kevin Feige, there's just too much going on for Kevin Feige to be directly in control of. And now we're starting to see something that we have not seen in the MCU before. This type of ball-dropping mismanagement of now you have to swap directors weeks before this thing happens. To me, this is a huge red flag. Now, after that conversation I had with Rob, a new report came out talking about the fact that there is more drama going on behind the scenes. For those of you guys who followed me for a long time, you know the name Jeff Schneider. Well, Jeff Schneider, who is an industry insider and has been working in this field for a very long time, he actually put out an interesting statement last night that said this. Said, "I am told that the current Blade script is roughly 90 pages, 90 pages? and features exactly 2 lackluster action sequences. Mahershala Ali is said to be very frustrated with the process. Feige is said to be spread too thin, which is the exact wording I've been using for a while. Feige is said to be spread too thin, but hey, that's just what the sources are telling me. Don't shoot the messenger. Again, I'm told that the current Blade script is roughly 90 pages and features 2 lackluster action sequences. Mahershala is said to be very frustrated with the process. Feige is said to be spread too thin, but hey, that's just what sources are telling me. I think this is the first time we are very visibly seeing the effects of Marvel is doing too much. Now, I have hinted and suggested maybe that them trying to do too much and the inability of Kevin Feige to be able to be directly in control of the stuff might be one of the things that would explain what I perceive to be, in my own subjective way, what I perceive to be a drop in overall quality with the MCU in Phase 4. They put out some diamonds, WandaVision, Ms. Marvel, Shang-Chi. They have done some absolute diamonds, yes. But overall, I contend that Phase 4 has been the lowest quality of the 4 phases so far. And I think part of that, at least I suspect, has to do with the fact that Kevin Feige is spread too thin. And now we're seeing big gaffes like this for a movie that should be awesome. Because you got a 2-time Academy Award winner, Mahershala Ali, starring in this thing, one of the greatest castings the MCU's ever done. And to see this again, and this is just some DC sounding stuff. This is the type of story we are accustomed to hearing coming out of DC. So what the hell are you guys doing over there at this point? And it has been an ongoing drama. We've heard several times and talked several times on the show about script going back for more working.
Yep.
6 months later, script going back for more reworks. 6 months later, script going back for more reworks. They cannot get a handle of this thing. Anyway, I could drone on about this for another hour.
We want to take a second and thank a sponsor of this video, Stamps.com. Guys, I know it feels early, but Christmas really is right around the corner. And if you've got a lot of stuff to send to family this year, you got to start thinking ahead. And if you're a small business owner, you know how important it is to be ready for the insane holiday season. Stamps.com has everything you need to make your life a whole lot easier. It's the 24/7 post office that you can access from anywhere. No lines, no traffic, no hassle. Get access to the USPS and UPS services that you need to run your business right from your computer. Protect your margins with major discounts from USPS and UPS rates up to 86% off. All you need is a computer and a printer. We all know that rates are always changing, but with Stamps.com's Switch and Save feature, you can easily compare carriers and rates so you know that you're getting the best deal every single time. And if you're running an online store, Stamps.com works seamlessly with all the major shopping carts and marketplaces. So get ahead of the holiday season chaos this year. Get started with Stamps.com today. Sign up with the promo code Campea for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a free digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts required. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the page, and enter the code Campea.
Chris, you hear this story weeks before starting shooting. They've lost their director. We're hearing behind the scenes stuff that the script is still not where they need it to be. I don't know. What's your takeaway from this?
I mean, it's a very Bilbo Baggins situation. It's little butter spread over too much bread, you know? And this is slated to release November 3rd of 2023. That's not going to happen. No. That's absolutely not going to happen. And not only is that not going to happen, that means that other films are going to be pushed back too. We're definitely going to see a delay on, the Marvels and on Guardians 3. So this is going to affect the entire phase that we're dealing with here too. I'm just wondering what is going on, because you have rich material to pull from. You have an incredible actor to work with. You have access to the best directors, writers, everything.
You have an amazing universe to work in as well.
Exactly. And I mean, Blade truly does have such a rich history and so many connections to already established Marvel characters and everything. We have that tie-in too with Dane, which is really exciting and fun. And this is where we can get very gritty and macabre in the Marvel universe. And maybe that's part of the problem, is everything so far has been pretty primary colors, and we're diving into those secondaries and getting dark and twisted. Maybe that's where the issue is. But I'm not sure why, when you have the resources that Marvel has, both with its IP and its just reach in general to the most talented people in Hollywood, how is this happening? that I keep just scratching my head about it because I don't understand why
it's
this is
happened with
facing so many
Disney.
problems.
It has been happening with Disney as a whole. I mean, just look what's happened with Star Wars and Lucasfilm, right? Like, again, they have knocked out some gold. Absolutely, they have. But I mean, it has been a hallmark there with Kathleen Kennedy that, oh, we're working with these filmmakers. Oh, now we're not. And now this person's directing this. Now they're not. I mean, this is, I said some DC sounding stuff before, but this is some Star Wars sounding stuff now. I mean, I don't know how this happened. Anyway, Aaron, as somebody who's like worked on sets in the industry with all these you're looking at this scenario. What's your takeaway?
I mean, it's clearly there's something smells a little rotten, and the idea that this is just a scheduling mishap is clearly a cover story. I'm assuming that at this point, there's frustration on numerous levels. It sounds like Mahershala Ali is clearly frustrated. I mean, he's ready to be promoting this movie,
and he ain't
right
getting
now.
younger.
No, he's not. And there were already comments about his age of him playing Blade, which I'm like, he's a vampire. He can be 300 years old. Mahershala Ali still needs to play Blade. We're not having that conversation. That conversation is closed. But you know what? You're right. He also is wanting to move on to other projects. And there are other projects that, because this was supposed to start shooting in 2 months, he has passed on. He has passed on other opportunities to do things. So I imagine he is incredibly frustrated. No one more so than him, probably. But the idea that this would still be on schedule is insanity, because there is no possible way that any director who's coming in, even if they did have a director on standby, which, by the way, I saw in the chat some people were saying Guillermo del Toro. Yes, please.
Yeah, but won't happen.
Right. But yes, please. And thank you. I would be so thrilled if Guillermo del Toro was like, I was just taking some time off, but then that contradicts my, contractor analogy that I just used. Guillermo del Toro is probably not available. However, whoever they bring in as the director to come in, no director worth their salt or in any right frame of mind is going to say, okay, yeah, sure, I'm going to take 2 months to prep this film, a film that probably already has sets being built, wardrobe that is already being designed.
Are they, considering they don't even have their script? That's the really good. I think this director left
I would almost hear. A lot of times multiple things are happening at one time.
Absolutely.
They will say, okay, they'll say we're cleaning up some things in the script, but we know that XYZ locations are going to be, integral to the story. So you guys go ahead and start building that, wardrobe, start going ahead and, creating the look of the characters. These things do happen simultaneously a lot of times in different departments. The script problems, as I always go back to, if the story ain't there, you got nothing. And the fact that there have been so many script problems and that they have not been able to come to a good, solid script, that right there is a big problem. And that also might be a big cause for delay. I know nothing. I have no inside information, but I wouldn't be surprised if we find out a little bit down the line that these continued script problems are also a big part of the reason why, the director is leaving over
100%. 100%.
Yeah. But I mean, ultimately, I think that they should take their cue from Star Trek and say, hey, for the moment, we're just going to press the pause button on this. We're going to get our script in line, and we're going to get our story together. And once we have that, then we're going to attract the right director and then we're going to give that director minimum of 6 months to do their own prep. You can't give a director 2 months to do Blade. That's crazy.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think that we can all just say we're not seeing Blade anytime in the next 2 years. And for Mahershala, you just keep being fantastic, honey. You just keep on. You are not aging a day. I'm ready for your Blade. Now, 10 years from now, I'm ready for it.
Okay, so here's the thing too, to keep in mind. They have had 3 years to get this story to where they need it to be. 3 fucking years. And this tells me they didn't have one damn thing ready before they announced to the world that we got Mahershala Ali as Blade.
Yeah.
I mean, this, again, look, all due respect to Kevin Feige, who, I think is the greatest executive in the history. I mean, him and his former boss, Alan Horn, 2 greatest executives in film history. I think he's great. He can do almost anything. But I think Jonathan Voico is like one of the most reliable guys I've ever worked with. I know when I give him a video to edit, I know it's going to be great, and I know he's going to have it to me on time. But it doesn't matter if I think he's great. I can't come to him on a Friday, give him 10 videos that I need edited by Sunday and expect that it's going to come back to me at any kind of quality.
Yeah, he's got to work on his Warner Brothers stuff too.
I mean, like he's clearly got the Batman movie to get ready. But I just think this is yet another sign that Marvel is trying to do too much. Therefore, every project is getting less attention and more stuff is falling through the cracks. And listen, hopefully this thing comes out. It's the greatest film of all time. But right now, I think there are problems over there. I think there are problems over there that got to get fixed. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Do you think maybe they can squeak it out and get a Blade film out on time? I don't know if that's really possible or even a good idea right now. Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.